Today we're on the Caboolture to Wamuran Rail Trail. Join us as we take you for the ride. The trail is a 10-kilometre, uninterrupted one-way stretch spanning all the way from Caboolture through to Wamuran. We decided to kick off at the Caboolture end. There's plenty of parking and there's a nice little grassy area to stretch. I laced up my Lux Rays to prep myself for a tempo workout, and then Taran and I were ready to set off. Hey guys, it's Sunday, long run day, and Taran and I are on the Caboolture to Wamuran Rail Trail. It's a little bit warm, isn't it, Taran?
It's too warm.
But we're looking forward to it. The Caboolture to Wamuran Rail Trail follows the path of a former branch railway line that once connected the town of Caboolture to the rural communities further west. The line was originally built in the early 1900s to support the region's timber and agricultural industry, particularly the transport of pineapples, dairy, and local produce. As road transport became more dominant, rail use declined, and the line was eventually closed in the late 20th century. Rather than letting the corridor disappear, it was preserved and later redeveloped into a shared recreational trail, maintaining that historic connection between communities. Today, the rail trail is used primarily for walking, running, and cycling, stretching through open farmland, bushland, and quiet rural landscapes. Its gentle gradients are a legacy of its railway origins, making it accessible and easy to follow, while still offering a sense of distance and space. It's a great example of how old infrastructure can be repurposed into something that continues to bring people together, just in a very different way. Make sure before you set off you're well stocked on any fluids, gels or gummies, or any other supplements that you may need for the purpose of your run. Taran was kind enough to let me have her gummies because my gel stockpile was experiencing a bit of a drought. There are bubblers, but only at each end of the trail, and there's one right in the middle at the 5-kilometre mark. When we did this, the bubbler at the Wamuran end was not working, which was brutal, so make sure you're well stocked. I have heard that bubbler is working again now though. While it is an uninterrupted 10-kilometre track, there are a few street crossings you've got to go over, probably 2 where you might actually get stopped by cars. It all comes within probably the first 5 kilometres, so once you hit that halfway bubbler, you're pretty much home free. And from that point, you're very well shaded. There's so many trees which are covering the path. It's really nice. The first 3 kilometres of the run from the Caboolture end, you are pretty open to the elements and you will get blasted by the sun a little bit. But after that midway bubbler, it's so shady and it's so peaceful. Taran and I barely saw another person running on this path. I think we saw 2 groups of people running, a handful of people on their bikes, and then maybe a couple of kids on scooters, so super peaceful to run on. They have scattered through these little rail trail crossing signs too, which gives it that extra rail vibe. And within the last 2 kilometres before you hit the Wamuran end, it has some more historic stuff, like the timber mill. There's also a section where you can look over the open farmland. There's little signs explaining what it used to be used for, what it's currently used for. And this little stretch to the end of Wamuran was probably my favourite part of the run. Taran had to turn around at about the 6.5k mark, so I had to do this last 3.5 kilometres on my own. But yeah, it was really nice, and the feeling when you actually get to the Wamuran end and you realise you've completed the whole path is really nice. You come in, it's a nice like park vibe, you get to have a little bit of shade, and if the bubbler had been working, it would have been a nice little reprieve for me, but instead it taunted me and left me thirsty for another 5 kilometres. But once I got there, I turned around and headed back home. I met Taran at the finish line. It was even nicer getting back to the Caboolture end after we had completed the rail trail. There's Taran, and I gave her a little wave. This was probably my favourite part of the run because it meant my tempo run was done. I would really highly recommend checking out this rail trail if you have any long runs with tempo sections, or even just easy runs or tempo runs. Taran and I really loved it. It was so quiet, it was flat, but there were little undulations. The scenery was really nice, it was super peaceful, and I think if you haven't done this before, get out there and check out the Caboolture to Wamuran Rail Trail.